Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking a highly publicized, honestly, intensely scrutinized week for Prince William. It's a week that perfectly captures this incredibly complex balancing act of modern royal life. On one hand, you have profound personal grief, and on the other, this unyielding requirement to show up, smile, and perform your public duties for the cameras. And all the while, there is this constant, deafening hum of media speculation in the background. So we're going to break down exactly how the palace navigates this tightrope, using the events of this one specific week as our guide. So you really have to wonder, how exactly does a prince balance grief, duty, and literal tabloid drama all in just a few days? That is the core of our analysis today. Because what's truly striking about this particular week is the sheer whiplash of it all. We're going to look really closely at what we see publicly versus what is being speculated about privately, and how the royal machine essentially orchestrates a narrative to keep everyone's focus exactly where they want it. Here's our roadmap for today. First, a solemn mountaineering tribute. Second, duty at the Commonwealth Games. Third, those unconfirmed royal rift rumors. And finally, decoding the royal playbook itself. Let's get right into it. Starting off with Section 1, a solemn mountaineering tribute. Okay, so back on August 1st, Kensington Palace released an official statement about the tragic death of the legendary mountaineer Nirmal Purja, who lost his life in an avalanche on Broad Peak. And I want you to listen to the specific wording from this release. His relentless pursuit of what seemed impossible, combined with his humility and selflessness, made him truly unique. Notice how that sounds? This wasn't some generic, formalized PR dispatch drafted by a committee. This was an unusually intimate, deeply heartfelt statement coming directly from Prince William. You can tell it carried a lot of personal weight. And that statement was so personal because William wasn't just speaking as a future king here, he was speaking as a fellow serviceman. Both men shared this really deep connection over outdoor endurance and military service, specifically their time in search and rescue units. They were cut from the same cloth. On top of that, sources confirmed that William actually engaged in private outreach to Purja's family. He was making personal contact behind the scenes, totally away from the cameras, which just shows you the profound personal reaction he had to this tragedy. Which brings us to Section 2, duty at Commonwealth Games. Because here's the reality of royal life. The calendar waits for no one. On the morning of August 1st, we have that heavy, solemn statement regarding his passing. And then, literally just hours later, we see a smiling, energetic family appearance at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. Just think about that rapid, almost jarring transition for a second. The heavy emotional weight of losing a friend in the morning, immediately followed by the absolute requirement to perform public duty, smile for the cameras, and cheer on athletes by the afternoon. And they didn't just quietly slip into the stands. They showed up in full force. William is joined by Catherine, George, Charlotte, and Louis. This was actually the kids' very first official public engagement in Scotland. They watched the swimming heats, met with the athletes, posed for all the photos. It was a highly deliberate, visible projection of a rock-solid, united family front. Notably, Catherine appeared super relaxed, which acted as this brilliant visual counter-narrative to all the swirling, unconfirmed speculation out there regarding her health, even though the palace didn't issue a single new medical update. Their visibility was a very calculated signal of normalcy and continuity. Moving on to Section 3, unconfirmed royal rift rumors. So while William was navigating this personal loss and his public duties, the media cycle was totally dominated by entirely different conversations. And let's be absolutely clear right up front. The tabloid reports about family dynamics, specifically regarding Prince Harry's potential return for an informal family gathering later this year, have absolutely not been verified by the palace. They are rumors fueled entirely by unnamed sources, and it's vital we separate that noise from the documented facts we were just talking about. Just to understand the media narrative the palace is battling right now, listen to these anonymous claims. On one side, unnamed sources are claiming William is firmly against extending any sort of olive branch. But on the other side, sources claim King Charles is more open to a return. Now, we are definitely not endorsing either of these stances as fact. We're just illustrating the conflicting, highly dramatized narratives that the press is pushing behind the scenes while the family is out there performing their public duties. The contrast between the tabloid noise and the official response is honestly staggering. You have reports claiming Catherine is deeply concerned about the toll this rumored rift is taking on William and Charles's relationship. Multiple anonymous sources are just dominating the headlines with these really emotional claims. Yet, what is the official palace response to all of this? Crickets. A strict, unwavering, no comment. Despite the sheer volume of the claims, the palace absolutely refuses to engage. And that leads us perfectly into Section 4, decoding the royal playbook. So how exactly do you handle a week of mourning, public duties, and rampant tabloid rumors? Well, you use the first two to totally drown out the third. When you look at the confirmed facts, William's heartfelt tribute to Purja and that highly visible Glasgow family appearance, and stack them up against the unconfirmed rumors, the rift over Harry, the whispers about Catherine's health, the strategy becomes so clear. By putting these side by side, you separate verifiable actions from unverified speculation. The palace's goal is to make their public actions so visually and emotionally compelling that those rumors are essentially starved of oxygen. So here is that royal playbook spelled out step by step. Step 1. Action and tributes. You issue statements that actually matter, leaning hard into core values like military service and loyalty. Step 2. Public family visibility. You show up, you support the athletes, you give the cameras those beautiful, smiling family photos that project absolute unity. And Step 3. Silence on speculation. You deliberately combat the unconfirmed noise by refusing to dignify it with a single response. You just lean entirely into duty, letting your actions speak so much louder than any anonymous source ever could. But all of this leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought. How long can silence actually effectively combat loud rumors in the modern media age? I mean, the royal playbook of never complain, never explain has worked for generations, and we literally saw it executed perfectly this week. But with the sheer speed and volume of today's 24/7 tabloid machine, is ignoring the noise really a viable long-term strategy, or is that silence eventually going to become deafening? Keep this playbook in the back of your mind the next time you see a flurry of royal headlines drop. Thanks so much for tuning into this explainer, and always remember to keep questioning what you read.